Marijuana is technically a psychedelic, but especially psilocybin containing mushrooms, I do believe that it's going to become easier and easier to come out of the psychedelic closet, as it has been for folks to be like, I smoke weed.
Home again, that's the sailor's way.
Greetings, folks. It's Chrysanthus. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the realm. Today, I'm gonna talk a bit about the psychedelic closet.
There's no earthly way of knowing
He's singing.
which direction we are going.
Hang on, darling. Close your eyes and hang on tight.
What's happening? What is this, a freak out?
Now, some of y'all might know the psychedelic closet. Some of y'all might know the queer closet. Some of y'all might know some other closets. But out of all of the closets I've ever been in, the psychedelic closet has been the hardest one to get out of. So I'm gonna go in a little bit about how to come out of the psychedelic closet. I'm gonna go a little bit into my own experience on being in the closet and getting to a place where I can come out of it. Before I do any of that though, I'd like to say that this video is for education and harm reduction. I am not promoting the use of any plant medicine, substances, anything I talk about today. I just want to encourage all of y'all to do your research and to put safety first.
Why don't they show stuff like that on TV?
I don't know.
This is my question, like, can I talk about mushrooms yet? Can I speak my piece? Yeah, so backstory. I've been on YouTube for over a year now, and I have been talking around something that is one of the most important factors of my life. I talk about Burning Man, I talk about tea and cacao, but today I'm gonna spill some of the tea on myself, and that tea is sweet. It's some sweet tea. It's actually some mushroom tea. And basically today, I want to say that psilocybin containing mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms, magic mushrooms, has impacted my life in an extremely beneficial way. And that's really all I'm here to say in so many words. It's hard to say that though. And I'm gonna get a little into the reasons why it's hard to say those words. I also want to encourage anybody out there who is watching this and on the fence about coming out of the psychedelic closet to think about it in a more critical way. For me, what prevented me from coming out of the closet, and by that I mean telling friends and family that I have benefited from the use of psychedelics and have used psychedelics, what was holding me back from saying that was honestly stigma, fear, and an individual concern, like for myself. And it's like, who's not gonna hire me because of this? And who's not gonna wanna be my friend because of this? And who's not gonna X, Y, and Z me because of this? But that was a very me-centric way of thinking. When I look around and I see all these incredible psychedelic projects like Sabina Project and Symposia, and even this new one that I'm checking out recently called Double Blind, I'm pretty sure a lot of these folks have YouTube channels. I'm very inspired by their honesty and their willingness to just, I don't know, say, yo, this is how it is. Now, with that comes a lot of privilege. You know, I'm very privileged that I am a freelance creator right now, and I can afford to run the risk of coming out of the closet. And that, you know, my family already knows about this about me for the most part. Not everybody is in a place where they have the freedom to do that. And I just want to say that I recognize the privileges that I have in being able to make this video and being in the ranks of folks who are leaving the psychedelic closet on YouTube. Yeah, I don't want to talk around what's important to me. Ultimately, I just don't know what the point of having this channel is if I can't talk about what matters to me most. And that is, in many regards, healing and access to healing. I believe that it's very important work for all of us in the entheogen psychedelic community to do to come out of the closet, because the vast majority of us challenge the idea of a psychedelic beneficiary. When I talk to certain members of my family about psychedelics, they oftentimes bring up the turn on, tune in, and drop out type of Timothy Leary narrative that is just so, in my mind, not what the experience is about. I believe that we should be dropping into society with what we take away from our psychedelic experiences and not out of it. Yeah, Timothy Leary effed it up for the rest of us. I was making some Timothy Leary TikToks and I realized Timothy Leary ran so that we could walk. A lot of the stigma we have about psychedelics is also from the war on drugs, you know? This great equalizer of all substances, where mushrooms, a non-addictive, non-lethal substance, you know, psilocybin, can be classified as Schedule 1, which is just as bad as heroin.
Schedule 1 definition: a drug or other substance that has a high chance of being abused or causing addiction and has no FDA-approved medical use in the United States.
It makes absolutely no sense. I believe that like my generation is seeing that extremely clearly and not taking the bait that our parents took with just being able to be like, all right, yeah, that's bad. What's next? Yeah, I don't believe we're taking the bait on drug classification so easily. But that's another topic for another video.
Just for clarification, I don't believe in criminal classifications for any substances, but these schedules clearly aren't aligned with reality.
What's ironic about my coming out of the closet is I never felt like I had to come out of the closet with anything in my life. Like, being queer, I never came out of the queer closet. Like, I thought that was always ridiculous. Like, if straight people didn't have to come out of the closet, then it's high time that queer people don't need to either. Like, it's just normal. It's just like, it is what it is. So instead of like coming out of the closet and being like, I'm queer, or anything like that, I'm just like, this is my partner. You know, the same introduction they would get in any other situation if they were the same gender, a different gender, or no gender at all. I introduce this person as my partner. That has just been my belief. And with psychedelics, I was like, dang, I realized what it is to have actually needed to be in the closet in terms of being queer like 10, 20 years ago. In a way, it's just like not a thing now. But for queer and trans people, coming out of the closet for us was a way to say, hey, you know, I'm your daughter. I'm your favorite neighbor. I'm your teacher. I'm whoever. And I'm queer. And you knowing me challenges the ideas that you have in your head about queer people, people like me. Symposia, they came out with a video maybe 2 or 3 years ago talking about coming out of the closet. And I remember just watching it and being like, damn, I wish I could do that. I see all these folks in the video like proudly exclaiming that they've benefited from these beautiful, beautiful entheogens, and I'm just sitting there like, word. Word, yeah. For the most part, you can't pick out someone on the street and say, oh yeah, they trip. Oh yeah, they journey. You can't do that, you know? You typically can't do that. Maybe when I'm in my rainbow poncho with my moonstones on, y'all can do that a bit more easily, but by the way, shout out to Pachamama's Connections for this rainbow poncho. I will link them in the description. If y'all saw my gift guide video, you will know this is my favorite piece, my poncho. I love Pachamama's Connections so much, and please check them out for ponchos and other beautiful handmade items from Peru. So yes, this spreading the word on our own experiences, on research, on all these different things is really the work that we in the psychedelic community have to do. Now, I'm not encouraging everyone to just blindly come out. Again, it comes with privilege being able to say, hey, I'm on the internet and I do psychedelics and that's here forever. That's never gonna leave because it's on the internet. But I also wanted to give a little bit of advice in terms of coming out of the psychedelic closet. I'd say first come out to, you know, your friends or family members who you're the closest to. So the first person I told was my mom, and I'd suggest telling this person in real life. I think what I had in mind was not the experience I got, you know. My mom was very open-minded to it. and understood, and we were able to talk about like the change that I've experienced since beginning beautiful regimen of plant medicine. So yes, shout out to my mom. That really gave me the courage to spread this to others and let other folks know the good news. And again, I'm not promoting it. I'm not saying you should try it. I am saying that if you already are into plant medicine, entheogens, psychedelics, etc., consider just telling folks about it in your life. You would be genuinely surprised who takes interest in that and who wants to know more. It's never the people that you think it's gonna be. And it changes your outlook on things. I haven't told anyone yet who's been like disappointed in me, who's been like, that doesn't line up with who I think you are, like nothing like that. People have just been like, oh, you're into that. Yeah, that lines up. And that's mostly been my experience. As we see the further legalization of plant medicine, entheogens, like marijuana is technically a psychedelic, but especially psilocybin containing mushrooms, I do believe that it's going to become easier and easier to come out of the psychedelic closet, as it has been for folks to be like, I smoke weed. Because, 10 years ago, you couldn't be smoking weed, just like out and smoking weed in most of the country. And the idea that people had in their mind of cannabis was like, that was etched in, like deeply ingrained into the collective unconscious, culture, whatever. We had that idea. And we have this idea of psilocybin mushrooms that is also not right now. Folks don't know that they're not lethal. Folks don't know that they're not addictive. Folks don't know that a lot of things that are myths are myths. For many of us, we have ancestral lineages where psychedelics have been used for thousands or tens of thousands of years. And we look at them as something that's so foreign to us, but really, it isn't. Humans have been doing this since we started speaking language and writing music and all these other things, or longer. We've been doing this. And so, yeah, we're coming into doing that again. And I believe, like a lot of folks who have studied why it's so hard to come out of the closet, they talk about like rites of passage and how usually the previous generation had to have a rite of passage to understand your rite of passage, so they, pass on that same rite of passage for you. But a lot of us have parents who have never journeyed or tripped or even been curious about that. So it's hard to come out to folks who haven't experienced that rite of passage for themselves yet. And that's also something to consider, because now I know that like a lot of people in my life are like genuinely curious and want to try it because they've seen how it affects me and how it has changed me for the better. So yes, I suggest coming out to one person who's very close to you in your life and coming out to them in real life or on a Zoom call if real life isn't possible, and then really considering their reaction and letting it inform, the rest of the folks that you come out to, especially if that information is received in an understanding way. Yeah. I also suggest giving yourself a lot of time. Like between the point at which I told my mom and I came out about it online in like my public social media way, it was years. It took me like probably 4 or 5 years to be able to outwardly say like, hey, I've benefited from sitting with psychedelics, from tripping, from journeying, all that kind of stuff. And I was surprised how little of a surprise it was for folks. Additionally, I'm not trying to rush anybody out of the psychedelic closet. I'm more so saying consider it, but I'm also saying take your time with it. I don't want anybody watching this to feel rushed or anything. Everybody's on their own trip, But yeah, that is how I came out of the psychedelic closet. I feel like I'm mostly out for the most part, especially with the beginning of me posting these videos. I feel like most of me is out. I'm sure there are still parts of me that might be in the closet a little bit, but I plan on examining that and seeing how I can be fully out and, you know, genuine and honest in my truth and whatever. But anyways, if y'all are interested in further resources for this stuff, I'm gonna say check out the Sabina project on Instagram. That is a psychedelic project geared especially towards folks of color. Check out the book How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollan. I read that book or listened to it via audiobook, but also like gift these books to people. That's a great way to come out of the closet, is say, hey, here's a book, here's an audiobook. You know, not like proselytizing, but just giving folks the options to learn more in a super accessible way. Check out Symposia, they're a psychedelic publication. I know they were pretty active in my city and I used to love going to their events. And yeah, that's the Psychedelic Closet. I hope I've encouraged at least one person to come out of it. You know, it's not so much fun being in the closet, but for some folks, it's a necessary, irksome thing, and I get that. And, you know, have radical acceptance for where you're at. Don't look at anyone else and judge your trip by their trip, because that's not where it's at. That's not what's up. Thank you for listening to me today. It took a really long time to, it took a year to be able to start making these videos and talking about what I really want to talk about, but I hope y'all can sense my love for psychedelics and my enthusiasm for the research and the data and the facts and just the experience is like one of the most important things to me in my life. So to be able to talk about it and be out of the closet is seriously an honor, y'all. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your support. Please subscribe to this channel if you feel called to do so. Keep it trippy, and I'll catch y'all next time.